The 2021 National Architecture Awards are proudly supported by BlueScope, Dulux, Brickworks, Lysart, Fielders, Bondor, Bosch, Built Environment Channel, NBS, Planned Cover, and Architecture Media.
Well, good evening everyone and welcome to the 2021 National Architecture Awards. I'm Viv O'Connell and it's my pleasure to be your host this evening as we come together on lands across Australia to celebrate the work of the Australian Institute of Architects members. We're bringing you these awards from the lands of the Ngunnawal people. And to begin with a welcome to country, I'd like to introduce Ngunnawal Kamilaroi custodian, Richie Allen.
Hello and good evening from Ngunnawal country, Canberra and region. My name is Richie Allen and I am a Ngunnawal knowledge holder. I'm here to perform a welcome to country. A welcome to country is an ancient tradition that when you entered into anyone else's country, that you were performed with a welcome to country and a smoking ceremony. This ensured that you didn't leave your footprints on the traditional lands of traditional owners. First of all, I pay my respects and send my spirit to the Ngunnawal ancestors. It's their footprints they have left on this beautiful country we call Canberra that we follow each and every day of our lives. I also pay my respects to Ngunnawal elders, past, present and emerging, and thank them for the contribution that they make to the lives of this beautiful land we call Mother Earth. I also pay my respects to the traditional owners around Australia and thank them for their spirits that soar and fly each and every day to keep Mother Earth safe and healthy. I also pay my respects to the other cultures that are watching here today. The National Architecture Awards recognise those who contribute to architecture. I thank you for the contribution that you make to the lives of Indigenous peoples. I also pay my respects to those that walk side by side in reconciliation. In the words of my elder and my mum, Auntie Violet, Yan Yeren Yagu, Nana Dara, Yamalandi. Hello and good evening from Ngunnawal country and welcome.
Thanks, Richie. And I would also like to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of lands across Australia and pay respect to elders past, present and emerging. Well, tonight is the culmination of the Australian Institute of Architects 2021 Awards program, which saw 807 projects entered at the beginning of this year. Of those entries, 165 projects received an award at the state and territory level, making them eligible for national judging. This year's national jury was chaired by the Institute's immediate past president, Alice Hanson, and she was joined by fellow jurors Angelo Candelapis, Director of Candelapis Associates, Robert Nation, Director of Nation Architects, Ingrid Richards, Director of Richards and Spence, and Cameron Broon, Head of School and Dean of the School of Architecture at the University of Queensland. Well, the national jury have shortlisted the 57 projects we'll see tonight. To be shortlisted is in itself a very high honour indeed. So congratulations to all of the practices who are in the running this evening and best of luck. We are, of course, coming to you live once again tonight, and we'll be crossing live to the recipients of the named awards. So, if your project is on the shortlist and you've given us your Skype details, please keep an eye out for our call. The timing, as always, can be pretty tight, and we definitely don't want to miss you. And now, let's get underway with our very first live cross of the night. Standing by in Adelaide, I believe we're joined now by the Institute's National President, Tony Giannone. Tony, hello, and thank you so much for joining us. How's it going?
Hi Viv, thank you. It's been a pleasure, and what a wonderful night to celebrate.
It sure is. Now, you're coming to us from Adelaide. Terrific. Tonight, I think we might start with a bit of context setting, if that's okay. I know these awards are often described as among the most prestigious in Australia's built design and construction industry. But in your role as the National President of the Australian Institute of Architects, can you give us a sense of what this awards program is all about?
Look, God, we have a privilege as a profession as architects. And that privilege is to be able to design spaces for people to live in, to play, to work. And, that's a privilege that shouldn't be taken too lightly. And I think what you're going to see tonight is a group of projects that are going to be awarded for excellence in, extending that privilege out to society. And I can think of no greater honour, actually, as a designer and as an architect, to influence the lifestyle of people. Like I said, it's something that we shouldn't be taken lightly, and I also see it going into the future as we, come out of this sort of mixed up world at the moment, and in all seriousness. But tonight's a night to celebrate.
Well, it sure is, and great to see that we've had projects at all scales and from every state and territory, and indeed overseas as well, through the international chapter, come through for consideration tonight in the National Awards program. Can I get your thoughts? What does it say about the profession to see such a great breadth, not only of projects, but of practices represented this evening?
The representation this year right across the country and internationally has been nothing resounding, and it doesn't matter how small or large your practice is. I mean, we all contribute to what I outlined previously in terms of influencing lifestyle. But what you're going to see tonight is also work that actually puts a national identity on us. We visit buildings from regions to schools to homes, etc., and I think these awards actually put us in that context. When we look back over the history of the awards, and we have significant building awards that sort of contributed for 25, 30 years, and they are just projects that help nation build in many respects, build the identity of a city, but they also build an identity of a region. And like I say, I think that's just a great responsibility, and I think that's what the main focus of this award does. Actually, it gives us identity across our country.
And of course, we have many people watching in practice parties this evening, members also watching at home with friends and family, and I believe we also have clients tuning in to watch tonight. Before I let you go to enjoy all of the announcements that are to come, do you have a message for everyone who's watching tonight? Perhaps not just the members of the Institute, but also the broader public.
Look, on a serious note, and it's been a hard few years, 18 months sort of coming out of it. I'm not going to use the C word because I think we all know what that is. But the resilience in terms of the work that's actually being produced. And I'd just say, look, I'll use the other C word, celebrate tonight for what it is. Enjoy. And, we on the other side of the coin, we live in this beautiful country, and half the nation's been in lockdown for quite a while, but this is a great opportunity as we sort of emerge, I suppose, out of the difficulties. It's affected families, practices right through the country. So, a moment of light and enjoy the night. All these projects have all been awarded in their own right, in their own state, in their region. So nobody's actually a loser or anything tonight. Just celebrate for what it is and exemplar pieces of work.
Oh, well, hear, Tony. I couldn't agree more. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, of course, after all the state and territory awards, and I'm certainly looking forward to having lots of conversations with members as the night progresses. But in the meantime, your duties for the night are done, so I'll let you get back and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks, Vivian.
Well, the very first announcement this evening is the National Emerging Architect Prize, which recognises an individual or collaboration's contribution to architectural practice, education, design excellence and community involvement, advancing the profession's role within the public arena. Each of the state and territory prize recipients was considered by the National Emerging Architect Prize jury. Let's take a look at who's in the running. Sandra de Vries from the ACT. Alexander Symes from New South Wales. Tamarind Taylor from Queensland. Dino Vrinios from South Australia. Emily Alston from Tasmania. Jackie Alexander and Ben Sheridan from Victoria. And Louise Ward from Western Australia. Well, a great field of candidates there. This jury was chaired by Tony Giannone, and he was joined by fellow jurors Erin Crowden, the National Imagine President, and Sarah Lebner, the 2020 National Emerging Architect Prize winner. And the jury have awarded the 2021 National Emerging Architect Prize to Dino Vrinios from Das Studio in South Australia. Dino Vrinios has continuously and passionately engaged himself in all aspects of architecture and the community, tirelessly searching for and achieving his studio motto, Make Better. His dedication to work outside his practice is exemplary, including co-founding the Festival of Architecture and Design, developing and expanding the Future Forum initiative in partnership with the Institute's South Australian chapter, creating the 20-Minute City podcast in collaboration with CityMag, researching modular construction and co-founding commercial organisations Escapod and MDLR, and serving as a board member for 2D Arts, a disability arts not-for-profit. Dino has proven himself to be an influential and entrepreneurial leader as he continues to spread his enthusiasm about architecture and its capacity to create a better world. Congratulations, Dino Vrinios. And I'm delighted now to be joined by Dino Vrinios at Das Studio in Adelaide. Dino, congratulations.
Yeah, well, thanks, Viv. To say I'm overwhelmed is an absolute understatement. I've got these guys here.
Excellent. I saw the cheers as the announcement was made. Lovely to see the whole practice there. Look, Dino, I know this has probably come as something of a surprise, but what does it mean to you to receive this National Emerging Architect Prize tonight?
It's an incredible honour. I think to, first of all, be recognised within my state is a very special thing, but then to be acknowledged nationally as a leader with my craft, it's there. I don't know if you can hear my voice. I'm normally not ever struggling for words, but yeah, it absolutely means the world to me. Truthfully, I'm very lucky. But I have to absolutely acknowledge that it's not me in isolation. There's been so many people over the journey that have helped me to get to where I have today. And the main one, where is she? This one here. Sarah, who's my partner in work, life, and everything. So. Big thanks to her, of course, but also this, well, it's only part of the team kind of popped up overnight. These guys just decided to jump on the DAS bandwagon. So yeah, so much to thank them for taking the punt and joining us on this journey for how we can do architecture and design differently.
And Dino, do you have a message for emerging architects around Australia who might be watching the stream tonight? Any words of encouragement, advice or wisdom?
I would say that...
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, that's fine. I think within the architecture profession, we're going through an interesting time of transition. But I think more than ever, we need the thinking and the skill set that we bring to the table to help solve the wicked problems that we're going to face in the future. So I would say don't be afraid to take a step out and actually really embrace the idea of making the world a better place. Truthfully, I know that sounds cheesy, but I think we have the power to do a lot. So we just have to understand where our value is and put that into play as much as possible.
Well, hear, Dino. Certainly sounds like you are putting your studio motto, make better, into practice. And all the very best with the future, and including your duties in the following year as the National Emerging Architect Prize winner. Congratulations once again.
Thank you, Viv. Thank you so much. Thanks.
And as we leave Dino in Adelaide, we move to Brisbane for our next live cross. To give us a bit of a context to the announcements that are to come, I'm joined now by the National Jury Chair and, of course, the Institute's immediate past president, Alice Hampson. Alice, hello. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks, Viv. What a wonderful evening to be at.
Well, yes, out indeed. You're looking fabulous. I'm glad you could kind of get in front of a computer in time to have the chat. Always good.
Yes.
Well, Alice, what I might do, we might start with a little bit of context, because I know we're often joined for these streams by people outside the profession, clients and members of the public. And I think it's probably worth bearing in mind just those numbers I ran through at the top of the show. 805 entries across the country this year. 165 came through as award winners at the state and territory level for the national jury to then assess. Now, shortlisting is a tremendously important process and a very high accolade. Can you talk us through what's involved?
Well, the shortlist means that the entries have gone through the previous stages. So as a national jury, we get to look at all of the shortlisted. So we're given the parcel that's really made their way through all the chapters. The work that we get to, I mean, it's the cream of the cream job to have. It's an honour, a great privilege, and a far greater responsibility, but it's also this wonderful opportunity to experience the year's most outstanding architecture. So to get to that level, to get to a national shortlisting is extraordinary. It's the most wonderful, exemplary work. So the job of the national jury is a sheer delight. I mean, it is really a once in a lifetime opportunity to see this level of work across Australia, and there's also international as well.
And the jury tour, the jury process in assessing that shortlist. Now, we've chatted in the past about what that involved, but I think it'd be great if you can give people viewing a bit of an insight into how you and your fellow jurors went through that process this year. Sure,
Viv. Well, this year we all started with, heady optimism. The whole group of the jury, that's Bob Nation, Angelo Candelapis, Ingrid Richards and Cameron Brune, they all descended on Brisbane for a couple of days of shortlisting. So we get given a shortlist and then we have to work out our shortlist. By this stage, the Institute officer in charge of the awards, Mai, had worked out a wonderful and splendid itinerary for us to go and visit all these projects. So we spent 2 days going through all of the drawings, the images, and assessing a shortlist to go and visit. And then at the end of the 2 days, we had our shortlist, we had a sketch program of how we were going to tour to go and visit all these exemplary works of architecture. And then within a week and a half, COVID reared its head again, which was really quite, it's quite devastating. But with the true grace and spirit and dedication, our itinerary was within a few days completely transformed into being a Zoom and recalibrated experience in the way that we would get to judge the architecture. I mean, it was all pretty incredible, really.
Yes, it sounds like a bit like speed dating in a way. But can you give us a sense of what that involved? I understand that you were able to have a tour by the client in many cases, with the architect also taking part in this virtual format. Is that right?
Well, I think that's what was extraordinary. There were two jurors that were in Brisbane, so three of us. So we gathered all together in one space, and then Bob Nation would be in his own house, and Angelo would be in his own office, and then we would virtually jump to capital city or a site or so on. But because the restrictions were so intense throughout quite a bit of this time, I mean, there's only sort of 3 weeks to 4 weeks where all the judging has to take place. So you'd find that some architects were in lockdown in their own homes. Some were able to get to their offices. Many were not able to get to their projects that had been entered. So it was the storytelling was amazing, I think, in that you'd find that the clients would be on their iPhones or on their iPads leading us through the project, and they would also have then the architects would be in their own offices. I mean, it was an amazing collaborative event, and I think it was a great testament to the commitment of the clients and the journey and storytelling between the architects and the clients to produce a piece of extraordinary architecture. I mean, I think witnessing that was incredibly special for us. And then, the other point I would sort of say.
No, you go, Alice.
I was going to say that the other point with that is that although that made judging extremely hard, it was extremely valuable as an experience. It was not the way that that one imagined they would judge, but when you actually, no matter what form, but when you experience truly extraordinary architecture, it is overwhelming. So the decisions were very clear and they were very easy, which was, I thought, amazing.
Well, it is extraordinary, and I think we often tend to think of these Zoom or virtual environments as being quite clinical, but you did mention that often the presentations did have a quite emotional tone to them. Is that right?
Very much so. Just hearing I think in a way, because sometimes they were separated from the architect. The resonance of the client through their experience and the spaces that we're in, and particularly, and there was one, without giving things away, there was one particular architect who talked about the project, and I found it incredibly deeply moving as a moment, which may not have been the case had we been in person. There's this extraordinary amplification, I guess, of a presentation when it is through Zoom, which was unexpected, I believe.
Well, Alice, your work is done, as is the entire national jury's. So what I might do now is just let you go to enjoy the rest of the night.
Thank you so much, Viv.
Well, the first of the main category announcements tonight celebrates architecture that has stood the test of time, the award for Enduring Architecture. This award recognises design of outstanding merit in buildings that remain important as high-quality works of architecture when considered in a contemporary context. Let's take a look at the state and territory recipients from around the country. Canberra's Concrete Bus Shelters by Clem Cummings. MLC Building by Bates Smart and McCutcheon. Church Street Public Housing 1995 by Bly Voller, Parish O'Neill and Cox Rayner. The Youth Court by Public Buildings Department, architect Adrian Evans. Wilson Robson Building by Hartley Wilson, Old Meadow, Eastman, Walsh Architects. Olympic Swimming Pool by Kevin Borland, John and Phyllis Murphy and Peter McIntyre, with engineer Bill Irwin. And Town Council Offices and Library, Northam, by Ivan Ivanov. And the National Jury have awarded the National Award for Enduring Architecture to Olympic Swimming Pool by Kevin Borland, John and Phyllis Murphy, Peter McIntyre with engineer Bill Irwin. The former Olympic Swimming Stadium is not just one of the few remaining physical landmarks of the 1956 Olympic Games, but also one of the most important buildings of mid-20th century Australian architecture. The design by young University of Melbourne graduates Kevin Borland, Peter McIntyre and John and Phyllis Murphy, working in collaboration with engineer Bill Irwin, represents the high point of expressive structural functional design, an approach that signalled Melbourne as the cradle of modernity in the 1950s. In 1980, Kevin Borland and Bernard Brown converted the pool into the Glass House, a live performance venue, before the McIntyre partnership restored and refurbished the building as a training venue for the Collingwood Football Club. Today, the former Olympic Swimming Stadium continues to inspire, exemplifying unparalleled optimism in Victoria's design culture of the 1950s, making it a most worthy recipient of the 2021 Enduring Architecture Award. And the jury made special mention of the virtual tour, which Peter McIntyre gave as part of the judging process. So we're delighted that Peter McIntyre has sent through this message for everyone watching tonight.
In 1949, John and Phyllis Murphy and myself were doing our final year at Melbourne University. We met Norman Musson, an engineer. He introduced us to a completely new way of analysing stresses in the structure, and he also introduced us to precast concrete and post-tensioned concrete. This is where we balance forces. The following year, Kevin graduated behind us, and he also met Musson. Now, out of that encounter with Musson, when the competition came along, there was a lot of outcry against the games because people wanted infrastructure for housing, and there was a great shortage of materials. As a result of that, the competition conditions stressed that the economy of the structure, or the building in general, that was the key point that was being asked for. The pool was quite rigid, 5,000 seats, 2 pools, a diving pool, a swimming pool, dimensions absolutely fixed. So the question was, how do you actually construct the form that was virtually created with the competition? Well, we introduced post-tension high tensile steel, which was a first. And we were lucky enough, Kevin and I, to be in the same building as Bill Irwin, who was an engineer working with Murray Daly. Well, working with Bill and John and Phil, myself and Kevin, we worked out this scheme, and we put the computations, the calculations into the submission that we made for our drawings, which is a very unusual situation. But we knew Professor Francis was head of engineering at Melbourne, was on the panel, and we knew that he would be able to check out the computations, which is exactly what happened, and he confirmed we'd reduced the tonnage of steel by at least 33%. Well, that was the condition that changed our lives. Every one of us, from that moment on, started a completely new life. I designed my house back in 1950 here in Kew. I couldn't build it because I didn't have any money, but I built the house, got married, and I've had a happy life there for the last 70 years. It was all very fine.
Thank you so much, Peter, for sending through that message. It's lovely to be able to have your reflections on that extraordinary project. And now to the COLORBOND Award for Steel Architecture, supported by the Institute's principal partner, BlueScope.
Out on the patio, we'd sit, and the humidity we'd breathe. We'd watch the lightning crack over
COLORBOND, made by Australia.
And Tom Tyndall from BlueScope has sent through this message. Over to you, Tom.
Thanks, Viv. And on behalf of BlueScope, it is fantastic to be here with you tonight for the 2021 AAA National Architecture Awards. Now, in a year where we've been connecting with you in very new and different ways, we just wanted to say thank you for your support. Thank you for working with us on so many amazing projects. We really appreciate it, and we really look forward to what we can achieve next year. So I also wanted to say congratulations to all of the nominees across all categories, and we really hope you enjoy the celebration tonight. Now with that, here are the nominees for the 2021 COLORBOND Award for Steel Architecture.
Mass House Number 4 by Townsend and Associates Architects. Maitland Regional Athletics Complex by Maitland City Council with Studio Dot. The Malabar Apartments by In4D. Land 121 Facilities Project Laverack Barracks by BVN. Lockley's Oval Redevelopment by Walter Brook and Associates. Cradle Mountain Visitor Centre by Cumulus Studio. Monash Woodside Building for Technology and Design by Grimshaw in collaboration with Monash University. And Eton Community College New Science Building by Site Architecture Studio. Well, a great field of entrants from across the country, and thank you, Tom, and to BlueScope for your long-standing support of the Institute and, of course, this award. So, without any further ado, the 2021 COLORBOND Award for Steel Architecture goes to Land 121 Facilities Project Laverack Barracks by BVN. Building forms are simple and economical, with sophisticated manipulation of a restrained palette of materials to achieve well-resolved detailing applied in a well-considered, standardised approach throughout the precinct. Materials and finishes are contextual with recent projects at Laverack Barracks, reinforcing a cohesive visual quality. Profiled Zincalume cladding and steel is integral to the architectural expression and meets sustainable design objectives, including natural ventilation and enhanced daylight. Congratulations, BVN. And I'm joined now by David Kelly from BVN. David, congratulations.
Thank you, Viv. It's very pleased.
Good to see you again. Now, BVN, of course, has had a very long-standing association with Laverack Barracks. Can you give us a sense of how this project sits within the very successful body of work the practice has completed on that site over the years?
Yes, well, it's true. We've been involved at Laverack for over 20 years. We did 3 stages of the redevelopment there. So this project is really, I guess, a continuance of that work, but also the culmination of a lot of work which has gone into refining some of the models that we've been exploring, typologies. This is probably the largest building we've done there. And certainly it builds on the work that we've done in sustainability, natural ventilation, natural light, and really what it's done is given us a respect for what the men and women of the army do, particularly up at Laverack, where the conditions are pretty extreme. And so this gave us an opportunity to really give them facilities which were going to enhance their day-to-day lives.
Well, the jury made specific reference to the use of steel as being integral to the success of what you've achieved here. Can you talk us through the use of that particular material in this extraordinary project?
Yes, well, defence projects are always budget restricted, and so our aim, working with Lend-Lease as managing contractor, was really to extend the brief and the budget as far as we could. Steel obviously is quite a robust, very economical structure. COLORBOND in particular allowed us to achieve really the crisp, clear, forms that we were looking for, but also allowed us to extend that budget to really get those additional spaces within the brief that added amenity for the soldiers.
And can you give us a sense of how the people who work at Laverack have responded to these buildings?
I think really well. Certainly in terms of the working environment, a lot of the buildings are not air conditioned, or not all of the time, and so there's a great sense of thermal comfort, natural light, and also in this particular building, spaces where soldiers can gather, mix socially out of the harsh conditions. So that was a really important thing for us on this project.
Well, look, congratulations, David, to you and the BVN team once again, and I'll let you go there to enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks, Viv. And just a shout out to the team in Brisbane. I'm on leave, but I know they'll all be there celebrating, so thank you.
And now to commercial architecture, where the national jury shortlisted 6 projects. Let's take a look at the shortlist. Meals on Wheels SA Head Office by JPE Design Studio. Land 121 Facilities Project Laverack Barracks by BVN. Moss 25 by Circa Morris Nunn Chua Architects. Smart Design Studio by Smart Design Studio. Wangaratta Street by MA Architects. And Collins Arch by Woods Baggett and Shop Architects. Well, a great range of projects there, and we have several announcements in this category. A national award for commercial architecture goes to Wangaratta Street by MA Architects. Situated on a Melbourne city fringe site, this small footprint office building addresses both its industrial and residential neighbours, and the architects have concentrated their attention on a limited set of details to produce a beautifully resolved project. Wangaratta Street provides a strong contribution to a changing urban context in a quietly restrained but highly considered manner. Congratulations, MA Architects! The jury have also awarded a national award for commercial architecture to Land 121 Facilities Project Laverack Barracks, BVN. Described by the jury as a successful exercise of restraint and skilled delivery, this project skillfully transcends tightly regulated financial, functional and governmental design requirements to create well-balanced and humanised facilities to support the new vehicle fleet for the Australian Defence Force. A strict palette of low-maintenance materials and a suite of robust detailing is carefully deployed across 9 individual buildings with varied functions. The environmental performance of the buildings is commendable, emphasising mixed-mode cross-flow, natural lighting and responsive sun shading strategies. Second award for BVN. Congratulations once again to David Kelly and the team there. And the highest honour in this category, the Harry Seidler Award for Commercial Architecture, goes to Smart Design Studio by Smart Design Studio. Smart Design Studio is at once modest yet highly ambitious, challenging architects and their clients to examine the wider benefits of a long-term investment in our built environment. The original warehouse has been meticulously restored with steel windows and detailing to highlight its enduring beauty, and care is demonstrated in fine detailing throughout. At the top of the stairs, a series of brick parabolic enclosures intersect with glazed openings to create a reverent space celebrating both art and architecture. As a commercial offering and a contributing element to this burgeoning cultural community, this studio truly establishes an architectural legacy. Congratulations, Smart Design Studio. And I'm joined now by William Smart and the team within one of the brick parabolic enclosures, I believe. Hello, William.
Hello, how are you?
I'm extremely well, but you must be better. Named award,
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Now, the jury described...
We're
after
totally
you.
honoured to receive this award. Yeah, totally honoured. And Harry Seidler is one of my favourite architects and a real inspiration, so super delighted.
Oh, excellent. Good to hear. Now, we heard there that the national jury described this project as both modest yet highly ambitious. Can you give a sense of what your aspirations were for this project?
Well, we're fitting into a very industrial area, so our idea for the project was to create a new version of an industrial building, and in doing that we used everyday materials like brick or steel or concrete or even wires to form balustrades, but tried to use that in very inventive and new ways. So a catenary-shaped roof that we're sitting under at the moment, a whole lot of inventiveness in that regard, and also very strong commitments to sustainability, including a studio that doesn't use air conditioning.
And I understand that collaboration with very skilled tradespeople and craftspeople was integral to the success of this project. Can you talk us through how that worked?
Yeah, well, on this project we thought we'd bring everyone to the table very early, and that included bricklayers, concreters, consultants, all sorts of artisans, and discuss the ambition of the project and work out together how we would do it. So it was a journey that we went along together, and we really wanted to love that process from where to go. So not just a great outcome was the goal, but also to really enjoy the whole process of creating the building, which we absolutely did.
And William, is there anyone you'd like in particular to acknowledge or thank who was involved?
Look, I'd love to thank the AIA and the organisers, and especially the jury, for this wonderful award. It's kind of so exciting for us. I'd like to also thank my incredible team at SDS, and Joanne can't be with us tonight, but a special thanks to her as well. I'd also like to thank the whole of the consultant team, because we needed, of course, a lot of great specialist consultants to work on a project such as this. And a really big shout out to the whole of the construction team. It seemed like a project where we had an idea to build something extraordinary. People came along and they made it better and kind of improved it as we went along the way. And that's exactly what we hope a good project will be.
Well, hear, William. Congratulations once again on receiving this very high honour indeed for commercial architecture. I will leave you and your team to enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Moving on to educational architecture, where the national jury shortlisted 4 projects. Let's take a look at the nominees. Fortitude Valley State Secondary College by Cox Architecture and Thomson Adset. Geelong College Junior School by John Wardle Architects. Penley Essendon Grammar School Music House by McBride Charles Ryan. And Barker College Rosewood Centre by Neeson Murcutt and Neil. And the jury have awarded a national commendation for educational architecture to Geelong College Junior School by John Wardle Architects. Congratulations to the team at John Wardle Architects. And the jury have awarded a national award for educational architecture to Penley Essendon Grammar School Music House by McBride Charles Ryan. This is a project of sheer joy that thoughtfully marries an existing Victorian heritage house with a colourful and playful extension. The finishing of the project, where both heritage and contemporary detail were treated with equal care, using relatively modest materials, was impressive, and the jury commends the careful composition, which has created maximum delight. Well, congratulations to the team at McBride Charles Ryan. And the jury have awarded the highest honour that can be bestowed in this category. The Darryl Jackson Award for Educational Architecture goes to Barker College Rosewood Centre by Neeson Murcutt and Neil. This engaging proposition of structure and space develops a sports hall for a child's psyche. Grounded in country, connection and purpose, it connects to landscape through form, framing of views and connected spaces, while internally the vast proportions of the building are mediated through luminous interior light, skillful acoustics and thoughtful details, creating tactile delight and visual intrigue. Rosewood Centre mirrors the values of the school and is a signal of optimism for Barker College that will have a reach into the spatial consciousness of many young adults for years to come. Congratulations, Neeson Murcutt and Neil. And I'm joined now by Rachel Neeson, Stephen Neal and Tamis Jones. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Wonderful.
Well, first of all, can I ask, what does it mean to you to receive the named award in the Educational Architecture category?
Well, we were just talking, about the significance for us of education projects, because I guess our culture is so grounded, it's such a grounded field to work in. So it's really significant. And I think, for all of us, the wonderful visionary leadership by Philip Heath, the principal at Barker College, and then just the sort of like-minded team of people that you collect along the way, so necessary to, create a piece of architecture, particularly one that has a resonance, is really, a testament to the many, many contributors to this work.
The jury there mentioned the sense of optimism that this project is bringing to the school, and in particular the students who use the building. Do you have a sense so far about how the school and the students have responded to it and the impact that it's had?
We do. I mean, this is a college that believes every child matters, and they believe that design matters, and they believe that the atmosphere that's created for them matters. And so far, everyone is enjoying it. Students, teachers, visitors, a lot of people and parents come to and watch their children play here. One amazing night, the local council was holding orchestra under the Symphony Under the Stars, and it rained, and Philip Heath, the principal, asked them to join them in the building to have Symphony Under the Stars in the building, and that turned out to be a wonderful evening. Yeah. So in the entire community enjoying the building. Yeah, I mean, as architects, you talk about spaces that are designed for activities that you envisage, and then the kind of wonderful possibilities of things that might occur that you don't envisage. That was one that we didn't see coming. the sports hall converted into a sort of, auditorium. Yeah.
Oh, well, testament to an extraordinary project. But before I let you go, is there anyone in particular that you'd like to acknowledge or thank who was involved?
Well, there was a significant team, but Tamis Jones really was project architect on this project and pursued it. I mean, Joseph Gretsch, Ben Dixon really played a significant role in the project, and really it's an entire office that makes these things
and
happen.
The builder Prime Constructions made it, really brought some smarts about how to build this very big building. So thank you to all the team.
Wonderful. Well, look, congratulations to everyone who was involved once again, and you can enjoy the rest of your evening now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we will be back with the next round of announcements after these messages from the awards partners.
The shape is called a catenary shape, and it's the same shape as holding a string. So if you were to hold a string, it will form an arc, and the arc is called a catenary. If you flip it up the other way, so it goes upwards, the pressure that pushes out equalises with the pressure that pushes down, so gravity is balanced in perfect harmony. And that means that the load of the brick is evenly distributed down to the ground.
Now you can easily bring your projects to life with Dulux BIM Solutions. Dulux BIM Solutions provides easy-to-use BIM content, so you can add Dulux colours and product ranges to your Revit and ArchiCAD models quickly and simply. The latest Dulux BIM content update now includes the Dulux World of Colour and product ranges from Dulux powder coatings, protective coatings, Acrotex and Intergrain timber finishes. Dulux BIM Solutions, inspiring creativity.
When it's time to build, build on quality that's proven in Australia's harsh environment. Build on Lysart, steel roofing and walling. Style. Experience. Excellence. You have it all when you choose Lysart, steel roofing and walling. Insist on the best. Insist on Lysart.
For more than 130 years, Bosch has designed products that spark enthusiasm, improve quality of life, and help conserve natural resources. We have built our reputation on design, quality, reliability, trust, and sustainability. In short, we want to create technology that is invented for life. With more than 200 international design awards attained over the past 5 years, Bosch is the clear leader in home appliances. Outstanding design requires both great form and function. For home appliances, invented for life means giving people peace of mind for their daily life at home.
The next category is urban design, and there are 5 projects on the national shortlist. Let's take a look. Cradle Mountain Gateway Precinct by Cumulus Studio. Subbase Platypus by Lars Nimmo Architects and Aspect Studios. WA Museum Boulevardic by Hassel and OMA. QUT Campus to Country by BVN. And Harbord Diggers Club Redevelopment by Architectus and Croffey and JMD Design. And the jury have awarded a national commendation for urban design to QUT Campus to Country by BVN. Congratulations to Kevin O'Brien and the BVN team. And the highest honour in this category, the Walter Burley Griffin Award for Urban Design, is awarded to Subbase Platypus by Lars Nimmo Architects and Aspect Studios. At the Subbase Platypus, the approach to the adaptive reuse of the remnant industrial and military structures is both bold and inquisitive. The detailed repair, removal and upgrade work is underpinned by a porous and legible urban diagram that facilitates public access to an area of the Sydney foreshore that was off limits to the public for more than 150 years. The scenic locale is now coming alive as a new community and commercial hub, with the waterfront park and promenades creating an engaging new destination that is linked to active mobility and public transport networks. Congratulations, Lars Nimmo Architects and Aspect Studios. And joining me now, I have Andrew Nimmo, Annabelle Lars and the team from Lars Nimmo Architects. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. You had me worried there for a moment with that silence. I thought someone say something.
The whole team is here. The whole team is here.
Excellent. Excellent. Glad to hear it. Always lovely to see you guys. Now, look, the national jury have described this project as a profound and exemplary urban design transformation. It's an absolutely extraordinary site as well. Can you give us a sense of what it was like for the team to work on?
Well, you only get sites like this probably once in a career. Once upon a time, Sydney Harbour was full of these working industrial harbour sites, and one by one they've all gone. They've been taken away. They often get developed for multi-unit residential, and I think this could so easily have happened to this site. So I think full marks to the Sydney Harbour Federation Trust that they've given this back to the community as a public park, but also as a working space. As the buildings have been kept, the precinct has been kept, and that 150 years of cultural layering goes on. It's not white clean; it just goes on, and that's what we should be doing in the city.
Excellent. And I understand collaboration was key to the success of this project. Obviously, Aspect Studios, your landscape architecture partners, and the Harbour Trust themselves. Can you talk us through that collaborative process?
Well, the Trust had done a lot of work before we even got there in terms of setting the groundwork, cleaning up the site, doing a lot of community consultation, which makes it a lot easier, of course, for when we came along. We started early on with Aspect preparing a master plan and trying to work out what a scope of works could be, because there was a very tight budget. We needed to get as big a bang for our buck as we could with that. And we worked very, very closely with Aspect all the way through. I think in a lot of the work we tried to blur the distinction between architecture and landscape architecture, because it's all urban design, and that's what we like doing.
And Sasha does.
Yes, and in fact,
yes,
for this evening.
We were hoping to have the Aspect team here, but of course they're at the Planning Institute of Architects Awards, which Subbase Platypus is also in. So we've decided to divide and conquer.
Yes, well, I was just going to give a shout out to those guys because I knew they were there. So very good luck to Aspect Studios and yourselves for the PIA Awards tonight. Is there anyone else in particular that you'd like to acknowledge who was involved in this project before I let you go?
Well, of course, the project architect, Hugo, who lived with this project in and out for 2-3 years, and his able assistant Jemima Manton, who couldn't be here tonight, but also worked so closely on this project. And I think you should probably ask Hugo a question, because this was his project.
Oh, well, Hugo, the floor is yours. What would you like us to know about this project before I let you go and enjoy your wine?
The question was...
Oh, well, is there anything that you'd like to add to Annabelle and Andrew's comments there?
I don't think so. I think it was a kind of once in a lifetime project to be involved in. It was just amazing to go down there on the site, and the fact that it's there now for everyone. It's just a joy to have that kind of site in Sydney, that's in public hands. So it was just a great project.
And I think also it does demonstrate that you can have a mix of commercial and public coexisting together, and the commercial supporting the public and actually supporting and funding those public spaces that have been locked away for years to actually be opened up.
Well, it's a true gift to the people of Sydney. So congratulations to everyone involved, your collaborators, the Harbour Trust, and of course the project team. And I might let you go to enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, the next two categories are small project architecture and heritage. Let's roll the shortlist for the projects considered by the national jury in these two categories. Plastic Palace by Raffaello Roselli Architects. Jackalope Pavilion by March Studio. NGV Triennial 2020 Outdoor Pavilions by Boardgrove Architects. Floating Sauna Derby by Light Architecture. Bendigo Former Mining Exchange by Williamsburg Architects. And Australian Museum Project Discover by Cox Architecture with Neeson Murcutt and Neil. We'll begin with the announcements for small project architecture, where the national jury have awarded a national commendation to Jackalope Pavilion by March Studio. Congratulations to the team at March Studio. The jury have also awarded a national commendation for small project architecture to Floating Sauna Derby by Light Architecture. Congratulations to Jason and the team at Light Architecture in Tasmania. The jury have also awarded a national commendation for small project architecture to Plastic Palace by Raffaello Roselli Architects. Congratulations to Raffaello Roselli Architects. Moving on to the announcements for heritage, and the jury have awarded a national award to Australian Museum Project Discover by Cox Architecture with Neeson Murcutt and Neil. The Australian Museum complex is of state and national significance as the purpose-built location for the nation's largest natural history collections. Founded in 1827, it is the earliest and most intact cultural institution in Australia. The 2020 design overlay reveals sightlines across vast spaces, improving wayfinding, while heritage sandstone, previously hidden, is unveiled alongside modern inclusions. The design is highly strategic, revealing and celebrating the museum's rich historic layering and creating legibility of movement, vertical and horizontal, while enabling universal public access throughout and enhancing the museum's engagement with William Street. Congratulations, Cox Architecture with Neeson Murcutt and Neil. And the highest honour in this category, the Lachlan Macquarie Award for Heritage, goes to Bendigo Former Mining Exchange by Williams-Bogue Architects. Part of the Beehive building by Charles Webb in 1872, the mining exchange was the centre of the gold trade during Bendigo's gold rush and was subsequently heavily modified for use by Allen's Music in the 1920s. Closed since the 1980s, this fine interpretive restoration goes beyond an understanding of history to develop an understanding of the story of the building, and the work undertaken displays an intense desire to envision its useful future while enabling a deep and caring interpretation of the past. The national jury applauds the skill with which the architect has woven together the acts of interpretation, restoration, conservation and reinstatement to execute an exemplar of heritage practice. Congratulations, Williams-Bogue Architects. And I'm delighted to be joined now by Peter Williams from Williams-Bogue Architects. Peter, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Viv. I'm trembling with the announcement of that photograph, of that announcement. It was just wonderful. It's going to take a while to sink in, I think.
Oh, well, look, I have to say it's always nice to see the little fist pump and the smiles when the announcement is made. Obviously a very emotional moment there. Now, Peter, the jury describe in their lengthy citation on this project, which will be appearing in Architecture Australia, the obvious enormous affection that your project team had for this building. Can you give us a sense of what it was like to work on and why did it mean so much to you?
I'm not hearing you, Viv.
Oh, okay.
I'm not hearing you.
That's all right. Bear with us, Peter. We'll just see if we can get that working. Just stand by.
Has he got his speakers off?
Do you have your speakers turned on, Peter? Oh, obviously Peter can't hear me. Sorry, just bear with us one moment, people. We'll just keep trying that.
Let's try again.
Okay, can you hear me now, Peter?
I can hear you now, yes.
How's that?
That's great.
Oh, excellent.
That's much better.
All right. No, not a problem at all. I'll start from the top. The National Jury in their citation talk about the enormous affection that it was evident your project team had for this building. Can you give us a sense of what it was like to work on and why this building meant so much to you?
Look, it did mean a lot to us, and I think it was because it was a long, slow immersion in the building with initial council aspirations in 2015 through to absolutely, examining a whole range of possibilities for it, and then eventually turning it into a project that was delivered by a very willing developer who purchased the site from council to save it. Council took the initiative to save the building. The first project that he'd ever done in this particular area, and he worked very closely with us to deliver that project. So, and I think that the reward for us all has been what it's returned to the community. This building was locked up for many years, but it never disappeared from the memories of the community, I think, and it was so good to enable them to walk through it again.
Oh, look, that's absolutely wonderful. Is there anyone in particular that you'd like to acknowledge or thank who was involved?
Look, I've mentioned the developer, Craig Lightfoot. I think he took it on not really knowing what he was getting into. It took us a while to gain his confidence, and I think at the end of the day we both have all really enjoyed working with each other. DBG Constructions pulled every stop out that they could to achieve what was a very ambitious project with a very tight budget. And I think the project architect from our office, Sean Earle, who was really with us day and night for the last 2 years of delivery, also should be thanked on this one. And I think the support we had from Heritage Victoria, giving their authority to us to make the decisions on the project, was really wonderful. So it's such a wonderful announcement that you've made for us tonight. And I'm sure, even though we're celebrating in remote places, our office will be absolutely thrilled.
Oh, well, that's great to hear, Peter. Congratulations to you and everyone involved once again. And on that note, I will let you go and enjoy the rest of your night.
And thank you very much, Viv. And thanks to the Institute.
The next category is sustainable architecture, with a short list of 3 projects. And they are Monash Woodside Building for Technology and Design by Grimshaw in collaboration with Monash University. Burwood Brickworks by NH Architecture in partnership with Russell and George on the interior design. And Smart Design Studio by Smart Design Studio. Well, the National Jury have awarded a National Award for Sustainable Architecture to Smart Design Studio by Smart Design Studio. This project challenges the notion of comfort to respond to our evolving climate needs. Thermal comfort has been redefined in the office to accept a broader temperature range, up to 2 degrees warmer and cooler, resulting in a building that utilises a broadly passive system in combination with automated facades, hydronic heating and cooling, and low inertia ceiling fans. The building itself is a model for adaptive reuse, opting for recycling over replacement. The primary and secondary structure of this warehouse were retained, and where new materials were required, they were selected to ensure durability and longevity. Congratulations, Smart Design Studio. Congratulations indeed. And the jury have awarded the highest honour in this category, the David Oppenheim Award for Sustainable Architecture to Monash Woodside Building for Technology and Design by Grimshaw in collaboration with Monash University. Sustainability is integrated into and inseparable from this transdisciplinary facility, where the passive design strategy shapes the architecture to showcase the performance-based approach and to provide unique learning opportunities. Currently the largest Passive House certified project in the Southern Hemisphere, the building has established a pathway for Monash to achieve net zero carbon by 2030. This facility is testimony to an institution with a deep commitment to social and sustainable outcomes and sets a new benchmark for education facilities in Australia. Congratulations, Grimshaw, in collaboration with Monash University. And I'm joined now by Andrew Cortese and the team at Grimshaw. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Now, I understand that Monash describes this building as a living laboratory. Can you give us a quick sense of what it was Monash was wanting to achieve with this project?
Well, I think it extends beyond just one theme in this building. When we started the project, Monash's intention was to establish a global benchmark in sustainable achievement, which could be measured and certified, and which was corresponding to its social achievement in terms of the teaching pedagogies and the way in which we unite both together, and how that also intersects with the impact on campus and its affiliation with industry. So a true model of leadership where a university takes a building and makes that an exemplar across a multiplicity of criteria.
And
a living
net
laboratory
zero is...
on the other hand. Sorry.
No, you go.
No, I say a living laboratory approach means that the building represents what it's made of, how it works, and how it can be seen to work, and how you can interact with it and see its performances. So the building is built for information technology and electrical engineering, but generally as a model for engineering across the campus and for innovation. So the building's specific purpose is to demonstrate the way it works and to allow that interaction with its performance to be a part of the learning programs that occur within the building.
And obviously the sustainability credentials in this building are exceptional. Net zero is clearly ever more increasingly in the spotlight. What do you hope this building can say, or do you hope that it can serve as an exemplar about what's possible with the built environment?
Well, I think one of the great things is that the building has been recently included in the COP26 exhibition for Build Better Now. And there is great challenges to sustainability, while we all are mostly very soundly committed to that endeavour and achievement, is that when we are challenged by complexity and scale and the economy that we're faced upon, we have to sort of stand and kind of work through that. So the building represents, while the building was transdisciplinary in who it's for, it was also transdisciplinary in the designers who put it together. So we worked significantly with a range of engineers, including Oricon and Jeff Robinson, who's a great advocate for this. But we have achieved a certified building which reduced the energy by about 75%. So we hope that demonstrates that amongst all those challenges that we can deliver real reduction in operational energy. And while we have managed to achieve that with Passive House, which is a great model for that pathway, we've also reduced embodied energy by understanding the real cost of materials. The building was built adjacent to the site by all Australian steel and local manufacturers, and built by Lend-Lease in a carbon neutral process. So you have to take all of these things to account, and these things are achievable once we get true commitment and cooperation.
Well, a very, very worthy winner of the David Oppenheim Award for Sustainable Architecture. And on that note, I will let you go to enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
Moving on to the next category, interior architecture. 4 projects have been shortlisted by the national jury. Let's take a look. Smart Design Studio by Smart Design Studio. Olderfleet by Grimshaw with Carr. Divided House by Jackson Clements Burrows Architects. And Billiam Ali by Kerry Hill Architects. Well, from the field of 4 entrants, the national jury have awarded a commendation for interior architecture to Divided House by Jackson Clements Burrows Architects. Congratulations, John Clements and the team at Jackson Clements Burrows. And the jury have awarded the highest honour in this category, the Emil Soderstone Award for Interior Architecture to... Second named award this evening, Smart Design Studio by Smart Design Studio. The interior architecture of the new Smart Design Studio is the unifying design language of this inviting urbane campus, integral and finely calibrated to the architectural envelopes. In each of the interior spaces, the daily habits of use and activity are carefully anticipated and accounted for, and special moments of interaction and engagement are celebrated. This renovation speaks to Smart Design Studio's approach to the practice of architecture across scales and building types, and its commitment to advancing sustainability discourse and innovation. Congratulations, Smart Design Studio. And it's back to the team at Smart Design Studio. William Smart joins me once again. Congratulations.
Thank you, Viv.
Well, now the named award for interior architecture, in addition to your named award for commercial architecture, I think everyone wants to ask the question, what's it like to work inside this beautiful project?
It's truly a beautiful space to work in. It's got a gorgeous quality of light. It's very quiet. The windows open every day, so we have fresh air. There's a lot of space, and it's beautifully laid out. It's a beautiful looking space and a very functional space as well.
Well, the jury mentioned that the interiors are integral to the success of the building as a whole. Can you talk us through some of those elements that we saw in those images just then, and what, in your view, works particularly well?
Well, I think the philosophy we adopted for the project was to design it from the inside out. So we designed the interiors before we designed the architecture, and for that we're considering the whole experience from the moment of arrival through to where you would sit in the studio and how that light would change through the day, and then how you would break off into smaller areas off to the side and have a sense of quiet repose in addition to being in a kind of busy and lively studio space. We also have at the top of the building a caretaker's studio, which is where we are right now, and that's a kind of beautiful space to be in as well. It's a kind of a gorgeous, unusual piece of architecture in Sydney.
It certainly is, and nice to see it pop up in the Brickworks commercial earlier in the show. Nice to get another shot of that extraordinary structure behind you. Is there anyone in particular that you'd like to acknowledge or thank who was involved in this project, William?
Yeah, it's just to acknowledge that it's a team effort, and we want to thank everybody that contributed to the project, no matter what role that was. So we have a whole lot of people up here tonight that contributed to the project, whether that was involved with photography or marketing or organising people's agendas or directly involved with documentation or construction. I just acknowledge that it's one big team and we work really beautifully together, and that's what helps to create these projects, along with the people that we find along the way that can help to deliver it. So thank you to all of them.
And can I just ask quickly, what does it mean to receive 2 named awards for this project this evening?
Yeah, it's amazing, really. These projects go for many years, and it takes extraordinary tenacity to deliver a great project. So tonight for us feels a bit like a finish line where we've won a medal, and it's just a great feeling to get to that finish line and other people recognise that it's a good project as well. We're also working on a Emil Soderstone building at the moment, so that connection to this award is wonderful to me as I pore over the original plans that he designed for that building and think, how will we adapt and change that?
Oh, well, wonderful. On that note, I will let you and your team go and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Viv. See you.
And we will be back very shortly with the next round of announcements after these messages from the awards partners.
Field is made.
Made for the contemporary.
Made for imagination.
Made for style.
Fielder's Made. Made for inspiration.
For more than 40 years, Plan Cover has been committed to assisting architects to identify and manage the varied and complex risks which they encounter in professional practice. From the placement of insurance and the provision of technical advice, through to our innovative risk management program, we are dedicated to supporting our architects. Planned Cover, owned by the Institute, protecting the profession.
The Built Environment Channel is a media platform to support the architecture and construction industry.
It means that we can connect with a whole lot of people outside our office, all around the world, all day, anytime.
You receive a premium screen which silently broadcasts your work, inspiring examples of great design and important industry news. All of this is at no cost to you.
For us, it's really about no more scrolling through endless content. It's literally front and centre for everyone here at K2LD.
The future of construction is digital. Data is transforming our lives, our work, and the way we create. Get ready to digitize and embrace the future together. NBS.
Well, the next three categories cover residential architecture, and we'll begin with multiple housing, where the jury have shortlisted these three projects. Harbord Diggers Club redevelopment by Architectus and Croffey and JMD Design. The Lothian by Kennedy Nolan. And Arcadia by DKO Architecture with Breathe Architecture and Oculus. Well, a tight field indeed, and the jury have awarded the highest honour in this category. The Frederick Romberg Award for Residential Architecture Multiple Housing goes to The Lothian by Kennedy Nolan. The Lothian is an exquisitely crafted and innovative townhouse proposition, worthy of celebration. Nodding to the historical context of the North Melbourne area through materiality and form, the building settles beautifully into the landscape, but is immediately elevated by exquisite brick and concrete detailing. The jury applauds this robust, energy-efficient building, which acts as a place of beauty and refuge for its inhabitants, while offering an innovative alternative composition of a multi-residential building envelope. Congratulations, Kennedy Nolan. And I'm delighted to be joined now by Patrick Kennedy, Rachel Nolan and Jackie Oro from Kennedy Nolan. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're so pleased. It's the highest award you can get in Australia in this category, and we couldn't be more thrilled.
It
sure
special
is.
one
It was
a special
very
one for us
good.
getting
It's a very... Sorry, I never get used to the whole Skype delay thing. I'll just let you guys finish. But I do need to say you're absolutely right. Multiple housing, a very, very challenging typology. This was a very tight field as well of shortlisted projects. Can you give us a sense of what the practice wanted to achieve with this particular project?
I think the thing we're most interested in with this project was understanding how we could interpret the local neighbourhood and really work with a single material, which was bricks. We were very lucky to have such a terrific brief, a really nice morphology in terms of like the limitations of the size of the building. So it just worked very well. A terrific team. Jackie Oro, who is our project architect, and all of our team really, who we work as a studio. We're very proud of our studio culture, and that's what produced this building. And it's just such a delight for us to be recognised at this particular awards. There are lots of awards programs in Australia, but this one I think is really special to all architects.
And I think in our practice too, like they're on the books for a long time. There's so many from our practice that had a hand in this project too. So this is 3 of us sitting here, but there's probably 10 people out of, twice the amount of that have dipped into this over the years. So it takes a lot to deliver these. So we're all, they're all sitting out there very happy. Nice thing to celebrate in Melbourne right now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think I heard a few cheers and a text message or two going off there as we were chatting. So obviously the congratulations are going to be flowing thick and fast. Is there anyone in particular that you'd like to acknowledge who was involved in this project?
Well, I think we'd like to acknowledge Jackie and also Amy from our office, who worked very closely on the project. Victoria Reeves, who's one of our directors, who was pivotal in the early parts of the project. Mike McLeod, Susan Sire, other directors who were also really involved with this project. I'd like to acknowledge the judges who took the time to try and understand the project, and the Institute for soldiering on through difficult times to put on this awards program, which actually means so much to our profession, I think.
And real troopers, I think, to the judges this year. Such an honour to be on a judging jury for the National Awards, and you get to travel around and see everything, and they couldn't. So, having to be stuck for a couple of days, basically in a Zoom environment. Pat walking around a site holding a phone, it's tricky. So what a shame we all can't be together celebrating it, but we're thrilled, and particularly to get a named award that's named after such a famous Melbourneian too, I think.
Oh, well, the jury were obviously clearly impressed with the virtual tour, and congratulations to everyone involved in this fantastic project. And I'll let you go and enjoy the rest of the night.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
And the next residential architecture category is for alterations and additions. Let's take a look at the 4 projects shortlisted by the national jury. Beaconsfield House by Simon Pendle Architect. Beck Street by Lineberg Wang. SRG House by Fox Johnston. And The Hat Factory by Welsh and Major Architects. And the national jury have awarded a national commendation for residential architecture, houses, alterations and additions to The Hat Factory by Welsh and Major Architects. Congratulations to David Welsh and the team at Welsh and Major Architects. And a national award for residential architecture, houses, alterations and additions goes to Beck Street by Lineberg Wang. The Beck Street residence makes an intriguing delight of the building's location in a flood-prone area, while enhancing the qualities of an existing 1960s brick and hardwood framed home. Defined with a palette of red and terracotta, the base is cool and robust, moderating the light and temperature in an inventive and very effective response to Brisbane's subtropical climate. In addition to the sophisticated strategy in managing the site's ground plane, details are striking in their simplicity and nuance, enhancing the functional needs of a home that is a delight to reside in. Congratulations, Lineberg Wang. And a big shout out to Michael Lineberg and Lynn Wang in Brisbane. Congratulations once again. And the highest honour in this category, the Eleanor Cullis Hill Award for Residential Architecture, Houses, Alterations and Additions goes to Beaconsfield House by Simon Pendle Architect. The jury described the outcome of this modest intervention, a 2-room extension and internal repurposing of existing spaces in a 1940s workers' cottage, as exquisite. The project is an essay in considered materiality, space and light that coalesces into a series of self-sufficient chambers in which the thresholds are as important as the habitable spaces themselves. A heroic curved ceiling celebrates the transition from old to new, uplifting to a double-height brick-screened clerestory, and each new space is lit with circular skylights that accentuate the place or surface upon which the light shaft plays. Congratulations, Simon Pendle Architect. And I'm joined now live from WA by Simon Pendle. Simon, how nice to see you again and congratulations.
Thank you, Viv. Very pleased.
Excellent. Well, the jury have also described this as a gentle project, and they've made special mention of the relationship you established with your client while working on it. Can you talk us through how that evolved and the impact that it had on this beautiful project?
I can. It was a 12-year project, which is quite something for such a small project. They're personal friends, and they're both artists, so they have a great eye. They contributed immensely to the process, lots of conversations. I was actually renting a room off them at one stage when the office had moved locations, so it meant that I was really on hand talking with them almost every second or third day, which in this particular case was a real bonus.
And I understand the clients themselves have described this home as a living sculpture. I'm not sure if that's correct, but if it is, can you give us a sense of, I guess, how they feel now living in this beautiful home?
They did describe it as that, and I didn't force them to do that, which was even better. I think it's because it's really like, it's a very, very primitive building in many ways. It's like a series of cave-like chambers that link and they kind of expand and contract as you go from one to the other. And because of that, it's quite dramatic, I suppose. It's really experienced as you move through it. It's got this sort of strong sense of discovery as you go from chamber to chamber, broken with top light and sort of hopefully interesting moments along the way. So that's probably what contributes to the sculptural quality of it.
And can I ask you, Simon, what does it mean to receive the named award in this category at the National Architecture Awards?
A lot. It's a real honour. It's a privilege. It's obviously something that doesn't happen every day, so it's fantastic.
Excellent. Well, look, on that note, I'll let you get back to enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. Can I just make some thank yous to the clients?
Oh, yes, please do.
Eureka Michelle, the clients, the builders, Kelly Building, and my old mate, Stephen Neal, who started the project with me many years ago.
Big shout out to Stephen. That's great.
And all the other Perth architects that have won tonight. William Smart and Stephen. It's good to see the brotherhood still together.
Oh, well said. Well, congratulations once again, Simon, and I'll let you go now to enjoy the evening. Cheers.
Bye.
And moving on to the final residential architecture category, houses new. Let's roll the shortlisted projects in this category. Divided House by Jackson Clements Burrows Architects. Bunkerin by James Stockwell Architect. Pearl Beach House by Polly Harbison Design. Night Sky by Peter Stutchbury Architecture. 8 Yard House by Studio Bright. And Federal House by Edition Office. And from the field of 6 shortlisted projects, the jury have awarded a national award to Pearl Beach House by Polly Harbison Design. Siting and configuration of the Pearl Beach House deliver delight, retreat, and a fulsome private appreciation of its bush setting. From afar, the austere tower-like form conceals a finely crafted home. A noteworthy terrace achieves that rare architectural moment, compelling one to pause, relax, exhale, and admire. The sense of ease it generates is disarming. Clever configurations, intelligent base materials, and the distribution of budget to unexpected areas, such as the off-form concrete roof, deliver a whole that imparts much more than the sum of its elements. Pearl Beach House is a masterful manipulation of the tension between severe, hard materials and finely crafted detailing, and a modestly sized home that engages at a human scale. Congratulations, Polly Harbison Design. The jury have also awarded a national award for residential architecture houses new to Bunkerin by James Stockwell Architect. Situated upon a spectacular east-facing site south of Newcastle, the house grows out of and into the landscape and allows the building elements and vegetation to be unified into an overall composition. In a unique tour de force, cleverly engineered off-form board-marked concrete of high quality is used externally and internally, with almost total exclusion of internal finishes. Congratulations, James Stockwell Architect. And the highest honour that can be bestowed in this category, the Robin Boyd Award for Residential Architecture Houses New, goes to Night Sky by Peter Stutchbury Architecture. Night Sky acts as both home and observatory for the mathematician client, the most expressive element, the unglazed oval oculus, looking to the Milky Way. The alignment to mathematics, the counterintuitive absence of any northern orientation, and the deeply committed disassociation with the context is understood with all the rare nuance of a masterful author. This work is unusual in its forms and expressions, but it's born from a deep regard for and understanding of certain forgotten principles, the loftiest of which is the development of a relationship between humans and the bareness of space. The national jury applauds this rare and beautifully effortless result. Congratulations, Peter Stutchbury Architecture. And I'm joined now by Peter Stutchbury and Fernanda Cabral from Peter Stutchbury Architecture. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Well, what an extraordinary project. Hard to know where to begin with this. The jury were clearly extremely impressed, and they have made special reference of the engagement of your client in this project. I can only imagine how complex the brief must have been for this one, but can you give us a sense of what it was like to work on?
The jury's comments that were just made were really incisive, very clever, and I think that the jury must have studied this pretty hard, because it's a elemental building, but deeply thoughtful. And we appreciate the jury for their efforts on that. The client is outstanding, a remarkable man, a handicapped fellow who has 2 degrees and a master's, and probably more educated than us, but was able to gently guide us through the process in a really creative way.
And can I get a sense of how he's responded to now living in this home, which also acts as an observatory?
Well, his last comment, I think, was he just enjoys sitting in the main room looking at the bricks. That's
well, the
not
level
bad.
of craft. No, that's pretty good. Bricks or stars? Hard to know which to pick, really, in this particular project. Looking at the images that we saw there in the citation, the level of craftsmanship is, absolutely astonishing. Is there anyone that you'd like to acknowledge, or would you like to talk us through, I guess, that level of detail that's so clear in this project?
I think it's important to acknowledge the traditional owners of, firstly, the traditional owners of the Blue Mountains, the Garagara and Darang people. To Basil, second, and he has been an extraordinary client and trust all the process to Peter for designing and creating the house. I would like also to thank the office, the whole office that contributed and supported, endless support throughout the whole way, especially to Sobi, my mate, project mate. Also to Mark, the boys, including Johnny and Robbie, and all the subcontractors, everybody, to Jarrah Wells, to Baker Joinery, to Progressive Energy, New Tatum, anyway, everyone that was involved in the making of this house. It was an amazing process. And also would like to thank Mick Michael Nicholson for the photography. So thank you very much.
Well, look, congratulations once again. This is, of course, the 2nd year in a row that your practice has received the Robin Boyd Award. So congratulations on 2 fronts on that score. And on that note, I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, before we move on to the final categories of the night, the Jørn Utzon Award for International Architecture and Public Architecture, there's one more award to announce that covers both the alterations and additions and new houses categories, the People's Choice Award. Supported by the Institute's major partner Dulux, the People's Choice Award attracted 638 votes this year, which were cast for the 10 eligible projects. Thanks so much to everyone who took part this year. 3 of the voters will receive a $500 Bunnings gift voucher, thanks to Dulux. The winners will be drawn in the next week, so if you voted, keep an eye out to see if you've won. And now, without any further ado, the winner of the 2021 People's Choice Award is Federal House by Edition Office. Congratulations to Edition Office. Well, there are just 2 categories to go, and the first celebrates the work of Australian architects overseas. Each of the projects that received an International Chapter Architecture Award was considered by the national jury for the prestigious Jørn Utzon Award. Let's take a look at the nominees. National Museum of Qatar Gift Shops by Koichi Takada Architects. One and Only Desaru Coast, Malaysia, by Kerry Hill Architects. And Sir John Monash Centre, by Cox Architecture, with Williams, Abrahams and Lampros. Well, 3 great projects on the nominee list there. And without any further ado, the Giannone Award for International Architecture goes to One and Only Desaru Coast, Malaysia, by Kerry Hill Architects. This well-designed resort captures the genius loci of place, with careful integration of architecture within existing vegetation. The main building base is articulated with a carefully restrained and contextually appropriate material palette, which gives it a solid, rustic yet Western appearance, while the rest of the building is clad with simple materials and minimalistic treatment, allowing the plants to dress the building. For a high-end resort, the architecture is not bombastic, but rather modest and elegant. Congratulations, Kerry Hill Architects. And I'm joined now by Justin Hill from Kerry Hill Architects, who's in Singapore. Justin, thank you for joining us and congratulations.
Thanks, Viv. It's just remarkable to win this award. I feel quite emotional about it. It's a long story, this project.
I did get a sense of that from the jury citation. They mention obviously the long-standing relationship with your client, but also the very long gestation period for this project. Can you give us a quick sense of what that involved, how it came about?
Well, a group of visionaries got together around Kerry Hill in about 2004. I think that's when I signed the first fee file, as it were. And so Kerry Hill, Adrian Zecker, from the founder of Aman Resorts, his business partner Anil Tadani, and the Malaysian Sovereign Wealth Fund, Khazanah National. So this vision for a project, 18 years ago, sort of was laid out. And it was a bit adventurous. It was a bit wild. Why would you put an Aman resort in what was a sort of B-rated resort destination in Malaysia? But it was being picked up and reinvented by the owners. And I would have to say, in that period of time until we opened it, until it finally got completed just before COVID, and then closed again, and then opened again, and then closed again, and opened again. It was just like holding on to that thread of how to deliver the project, and it's a good lesson for all architects. I mean, our project, so this is not the first project which has gone into 2 decades. I mean, and nobody teaches you that in university, that you're supposed to hang on to it and hold it and in the end deliver it. And we're very proud. We're very, very proud. I'd just like to say some thank yous though. President Hampson and your very eminent jury. Thank you, Cameron, Ingrid, Angelo, Bob, for going out of your way, actually. It's the first time in 40 years of practice that I've actually been asked to stage a bit of a walkthrough of the project virtually in the international chapter. So that was a really big thing for us. I also need to thank the international chapter and the jury. Thanks, Vui. Thanks, Hank Koning. Samantha Cotterill, for keeping us all in line. Bob Nation, you're an international legend. Thanks, Tony, National Council and the board of the Institute. And big thank you to Julia and the whole team in the Institute, and in particular to Jen down there in Hobart and Fiona, who allow us to share their bandwidth in the Tasmanian chapter, but we're overseas, they're overseas, so that works out.
And I know they're having a party right now, so I'm sure they're raising a toast to you from Hobart as we speak, Justin. And look, on that note, I will let you get back to enjoying, I guess, the rest of your early evening there in Singapore. Thanks so much for joining us, and have a great night.
One thing I want to say. I want to say thanks to my business partner, Angelo Chrysiotis, who really pushed the project through in difficult times to its conclusion. And Ivan, our project architect, the Gouties earlier on in the project, the wonderful Terry Fripp, who did the interior architecture over the whole time before he retired. And, you know, without that sort of commitment, you just can't deliver stuff. I mean, it's all about your team, who you're working with. So thank you to all of my directors, all of the staff, everybody who kept to the vision of this project, and thank you very much, Viv.
Oh, absolute pleasure. Always lovely to talk to you, Justin, and I think many of the people watching tonight are looking at the images there and thinking that's on my list of somewhere to go when I can travel. So, yes, it may receive some pretty heavy bookings. Have a great night.
Okay, bye.
And now to the final category of the evening, public architecture, which culminates with the announcement of the prestigious Sir Zelman Cowen Award. The jury considered a shortlist of 7 projects in the public architecture category. Let's roll the nominees. George Brown Darwin Botanic Gardens Visitor and Events Centre by Hully Liveris Design Company. Waltzing Matilda Centre by Cox Architecture. Monash Woodside Building for Technology and Design by Grimshaw in collaboration with Monash University. Australian Museum Project Discover by Cox Architecture with Neeson Murcutt and Neil. WA Museum Bullabardip by Hassel and OMA. Gunyama Park Aquatic and Recreation Centre by Andrew Burgess Architects and Grimshaw with TCL in collaboration with the City of Sydney. And Cradle Mountain Visitor Centre by Cumulus Studio. Well, a great field of projects there from right across the country. And the jury have awarded a national award for public architecture to Gunyama Park Aquatic and Recreation Centre by Andrew Burgess Architects and Grimshaw with TCL in collaboration with the City of Sydney. Gunyama Park Aquatic and Recreational Centre reinvigorates the public pool typology, drawing from the civic and landscape tradition of Sydney's coastal pools to celebrate the pleasures of swimming for all. In and around the pool and swimming concourse, a rich dialogue between sinuous landscape forms, changing spaces, micro-buildings and interstitial spaces creates a variety of opportunities for relaxation, recreation and socialisation by the centre's users, making it not simply an aquatic centre, but a place where the community congregates and connects. Congratulations to the project team. The jury have also awarded a national award for public architecture to Australian Museum Project Discover by Cox Architecture with Neeson Murcutt and Neil. Quiet as it may seem, befitting its relatively minor scope, this work displays a deep understanding of the original plan of this important heritage building and its potential and possible enduring future. Formerly suffocated by poor interventions, the building was stifled in its natural development as cast by Mortimer Lewis. These architects, however, have mindfully and selflessly paved the way for this work to be furthered, and the national jury considers that the enduring nature of this first but most important intervention will have a deep and resounding offering to future generations. Congratulations, Cox Architecture with Neeson, Merkert and Neil. Congratulations indeed. And the final announcement of the evening, the prestigious Sir Zelman Cowen Award for Public Architecture goes to Monash Woodside Building for Technology and Design by Grimshaw in collaboration with Monash University. The universality provided to this building through structure, daylight and amenity, through order in the plan and poetry in the whole, brings to light the architectural discipline like no other building noted by the jury this year. This highly resolved building develops a relationship to the ironbark forest into which it is sited and around which it exists. The careful composition of colour and form is not blithely considered, but rather seriously and carefully delivered with loving precision. A very public building with universal reach. The jury unanimously promoted the Monash Woodside building to be a work of public status, one that demonstrates how buildings can become assets to society through their adherence to something simple yet also intangible and profound. Congratulations, Grimshaw, in collaboration with Monash University. And I'm joined once again by Andrew Cortese and the Grimshaw team. Congratulations.
I must admit that was an outstanding citation from the jury, so I must first of all thank the jury for that acknowledgement. It's wonderful, absolutely wonderful to have that.
Oh, well, look. Oh, over to you. I was going to ask a probing question, but by all means, the floor is yours, Andrew.
No. Well, I think we're all architects here tonight, and you know the passion and the lives that we commit to deliver those meaningful outcomes to society are felt by many. So our team, our practice, our families are here tonight, and other individuals who are not here as well. It's been a tremendous kind of recognition of our practice's purpose and values. Obviously, Sir Nicholas Grimshaw founded our practice on the basis of a commitment to environmental and social sustainability from its absolute core, built with ingenuity. And we're incredibly proud to have kind of worked through that in collaboration with many. And of course, our work started with the ambition, the leadership and belief of Monash University in delivering a sustainable premise for 2030. And we have outstanding contributors from the university, including Alex Coots, our project manager, and the insightfulness of Shelley Penn and Jocelyn Chu. It's also not a building of great sustainable outcomes, but one of transformational learning in terms of the agendas there, the industry outreach, the way that it works together to make the different parts of the building work, from research to industry to teaching, to being a place of just within the university that all can experience. Some of these ideas come from formative discussions and collaborations with people like Chris Alcock from Six Ideas, who I've worked with for over 2 decades or 3 decades perhaps. And of course the passion we get from committed people like Jeff Robinson from Oricon, the precise engineering from Tim Matheson and Tony Lavorato, structural engineer. And of course we build these buildings with builders. It's a very simple statement. And with Lendlease, the Melbourne team of Bill Alexandris and Ben Brown, who took on the commitment that we established with the university to build a certified passive house building to the strict economies. It wouldn't have been possible without that same passion and commitment. And of course, we have those other individuals, the project managers who try to kind of steer the outcomes behind. Tim O'Had from Root Partnerships, our quantity surveyors, Slattery, and the landscape architects of Aspect Studios. I need to make a very special mention at this time because these moments of awards come very, very, very infrequently. And to my family, my wife Agnieszka, and my sons and daughters who are all here today, my partners Mark and Michael Giannone, who've done it, and Christian, who's my dear friend for many years, who lived the project, and our great community who've taken on the challenge to kind of do the same again and build upon the continued investment of our practice into these ambitions and values. So I'm a little bit, I think I've done enough now thanking.
Well, this is, of course, the Sir Zelman Cowen Award, Andrew, and it would be remiss of me not to just ask one final question. The national jury have commented on the universal reach of this building, beyond its significance to Monash University. Can I ask you, what do you hope the legacy of this project will be?
We always talk about the way that we build relationships between things. Architecture can take things which are normally separated, and through the kind of apparatus of architecture, it builds personal communities, it builds communities of ambition and innovation, it builds places of inquiry, places of enjoyment, really important, places of humanity. And I think that amongst all those challenges, we are accountable not to those kind of particular agendas of which are pertinent to now, but they have an enduring legacy, to use that word, beyond. And I think it's really great that we have an Enduring Architecture Award, because architecture has a resonant impact and a value to our society well beyond its time of formation. And the real kind of value that we find is in that impact on people and people's real lives and people's real experiences, and they're coming together over a multiplicity of generations and over a multiplicity of times. So if this building kind of builds an optimism, a sense of that we can take on some of the biggest challenges in the environment, in the economy, in the social kind of cohesion, and that we can do that through architecture. I'm not utopian, but that is the value and potential of architecture that we all believe in and that we give our lives to serve.
Hear, hear, Andrew. Very, very well said indeed. And on that note, congratulations once again to you, your team, to Monash, to everyone involved in this fantastic project. And I will let you go now to really enjoy the rest of your night. And that brings the 2021 National Architecture Awards to a close. I'd like to congratulate all the winning practices this evening, your clients and collaborators, and everyone involved in these exceptional projects. And I'd also like to thank every practice that entered the awards program in what has been, well, another challenging year. It's been an absolute pleasure to be your host and see your projects this year, and to speak with well over 100 practices across Australia to celebrate your important work. And of course, if you'd like to revisit any of this year's live streamed awards announcements, they're all available on the Institute's YouTube channel. I'd like to thank the Institute's corporate partners for your support and for being part of the streams this year. It's been great to have you on board. On a housekeeping note, if you've received a national commendation or national award this evening, the Institute will be sending out your certificates very shortly. And of course, the awards edition of Architecture Australia will be out very soon, and that includes the full jury citations. So keep an eye out for that. You can also find out more about any of the awards entrants by visiting the Institute's website. I'd like to thank you once again for joining me. Take care and enjoy your evening.
The 2021 National Architecture Awards are proudly supported by BlueScope, Dulux, Brickworks, Lysart, Fielders, Bondor, Bosch, Built Environment Channel, NBS, Planned Cover, and Architecture Media.